Now, I watched TV1 last night, the lead story. There was Mikey Sherman getting herself in a tiz over emails sent by Education Minister Erica Stanford. Was I hearing right? What was the scandal? Was she emailing a particular subset of the rainbow community and using queer slang like pussy galore? Being a little absurd and irreverent? No, she wasn't. But you guys get what I'm saying, eh? No, she had been using her personal email for some official parliamentary work, including budget-related documents and chats about curriculum changes. Yes, technically, that's not what the Cabinet Manual recommends, but she says it was mostly because of annoying tech issues like printing problems. And instead of stopping work, like many politicians might do, and go grab a drink, she forwarded her work to her private email so she could keep working. The audacity of the woman. She's now shifted everything back through the official channels and made sure it won't happen again, she says. Now, Prime Minister Christopher Luxon's not too fast. He reckons it's not ideal. Sure, but it's not like she was up to anything dodgy. He pointed out previous governments have done similar things, and as long as it's being logged properly, it's not exactly a national emergency. Opposition leader Chris Hipkins, though, said he has taken the chance to call the government out on transparency, saying ministers should stick to the rules no matter what. But let's be real, this is more email admin than a full-blown scandal. And Stanford's already tidied it up, she says. I'm looking forward to part 2 of Mikey's story tonight. Yes, indeed, there's another part to come. But I thought this might be a good opportunity, though, to actually look at our emails, with cybersecurity a very big deal worldwide and scams coming at us thick and fast. What do we do to protect ourselves? Joining me now is technology and business commentator and the founder and CEO of Gorilla Tech New Zealand, Paul Spain. G'day, Paul.
Hey, how are we doing, Leah?
Been a long time, my friend. You good?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, look, we're going to get to all that private email accounts can be hacked and all that. I'll come back to that. But I just want to look at, so when it comes to the government and MPs' emails, I mean, how secure are their systems, really? Have they got the whiz-bang top of the line in New Zealand?
Well, there's they're secure and then they're secure. And I guess in reality, nothing is 100% secure. And we've seen that, hearing things in the past around parliamentary systems having been breached by other states that might be interested in what's going on in New Zealand. And so, yeah, it's not perfect, but we also need to draw some lines around where confidential data sits. And if you start sort of assuming, well, hey, government's not perfect, my own personal security is not perfect, and you let things kind of float everywhere, then that becomes an even bigger problem. So there is some wisdom in keeping the data within, in theory, the mostly secure government systems. But look, it's fair to say that most big companies, the Microsofts, Googles, Adobes, and so on of this world, and most countries have had breaches in varying forms. And you've got the best of the best, the biggest and the biggest gnarliest countries in the world working to hack in and to steal information, whether it's very valuable intellectual property that would allow one country to copy what a top company or entity is creating. Or whether it's sort of, things political behind the scenes that are supposed to be kept private.
True. For us, for us plebs at home, how easy is it for someone to, is the right terminology, break into our emails? Is it hack emails? Is it, how do we, what is the terminology?
Yeah, well, look, there's lots of ways we see information leak out, shall we say. So, sometimes that is because we've stored information with a particular provider, and then the data that they hold leaks in some form. And so, we've seen that with, say, one of the KiwiSaver providers generate. They had a whole lot of people's data, and it wasn't held as securely as it should have been. So we had things like driver's licenses and passport copies that were leaked that way. We see passwords that on many occasions have been leaked, and that's through sort of similar sorts of things. Somebody that was holding your password got hold of it, and so this is highlights the importance of having unique passwords for everything you use. Otherwise, somebody can use one of those leaked passwords of yours online if you're using the same or somewhat similar passwords across multiple services. So this was the way that we saw Donald Trump have one of his accounts hacked. I think it was Twitter. They found out one of his passwords. Turned out that same password was used on his Twitter account. They did a few other things, and they were able to log in. So I guess the reminder there is, hey, use unique passwords. You'll probably need a password manager to do that, and look to those newer services that offer passwordless login, or at least use the multi-factor authentication where you've got some other code if there's any important data that's kind of kept with that service. And of course, if we look across the technologies that we use every day, there's email, there's files that we might store with Microsoft or Google, the same with our emails, and then there's a whole range of other things, whether it's logging into the council for paying rates, or all manner of things.
You mentioned it, Paul, and I must admit, it's coming up with different passwords for the multiple, things that I log into is ridiculous. But you mentioned there are, what are they called?
A password manager.
Yeah, and is that like an app or something that gives you or holds all your passports or something? Passwords. Yeah,
so a password manager allows you to you really just got one password that you need to remember, and then that has a vault that stores all of your other passwords.
Because I'm sure most people, Paul, have done a Donald Trump and used the same password with a little maybe change here and there for everything. I mean, that would still be super common, I'm sure. Maybe not with the younger, more tech-savvy people, but I'm guessing a lot of us still do that. But now you've got your two-factor authentication, which, we've got on our work emails, which I got to say, Paul, can be a pain in the backside because they want to send you something. What happens if my phone's not with me or my phone's died, and they want to send me something?
Then you're stuck.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's not a good system is what I'm saying. What about public Wi-Fi, Paul? Is checking your emails in out and about, cafes, bars, whatever, is it a risky move, or has that gotten tighter?
It is a risky move, and really something to be avoided. If you can tether to your smartphone, that is usually a much more secure mechanism. It is a challenge if you're, for instance, in flight with Air New Zealand and or any other airline, and quite often, depending on what you've got set up on your phone, some of these public Wi-Fi's, you'll actually get an alert if you've got certain work sort of security software on your your phone will tell you, get off your Air New Zealand Wi-Fi or your XYZ Wi-Fi because it's not secure if you use it. And so, I think that is becoming something that is more and more challenging in a day and age where that maybe some of those sort of simpler mechanisms that cyber criminals use to compromise systems, maybe we're closing down some of those risks or reducing them, so then they move into other areas, and those Wi-Fi issues are genuine.
Phishing emails are everywhere, Paul, still are. How can the average person spot a fake before clicking on something?